This is the Iowa Racing Report, ready for another race and go round from a wild week of action. And here's a sneak peek of some of the highs and lows of tonight's show. And we are ready to go for round two of the TV track we call the Iowa Racing Report. Thank you very much for joining us tonight, as it was another hit and miss week for racing fans across the state. Coming up later in the show, we'll show you where we hit the racing and where we missed the rain. That is in just a few minutes, and then later on in the program, it's a sneak preview of the International Real Wheel Film Festival that will be going on in Knoxville next Sunday and Monday. But right now, let's get it to the starting line with the Speedway Spotlight. It was a season opener with something extra at the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa on Wednesday, as the National Kidney Foundation's Tour for a Cure for Modifieds and Hobby Stocks and the Aaron Brown Memorial for IMCA Stock Cars all packed the track with action, Southern Iowa style. It was door to door, wheel to wheel, and sometimes car to car, and even car to big wheel. But a few racing wrecks weren't the only dirt track detours on this night. There was also a rain delay, followed by a little more racing with another sudden stop as the rain returns. But when the showers took a break, the racers poured it on, including three exciting features, starting with the IMCA Stock Cars and the Aaron Brown Memorial. And this one would be a family affair, as Aaron's father, Jim Brown, takes the Fast 54 from the pole into the lead. John Noller races the 3 into second, while the 75 of Rick Brown keeps pace in third. While others are jockeying for position, soon the 77 of Jim Lynch challenges Rick Brown for the third spot and gets the position. Jim Brown continues to set the pace, while Lynch works the low side, racing Noller for second place. And while some racers fall off the pace, Brown continues to hammer down. Later, Lynch takes the second spot, while Noller nails down third, but this is a family tribute as Jim Brown wins the Aaron Brown Memorial.
This is for Aaron. That's for Aaron. I'm speechless. I don't know what to say. It just felt good. I didn't even know I had it until I got the checker.
From a proud finish to a fast start with the IMCA Modifieds and the National Kidney Foundation Tour for a Cure. And early on, the fast field follows the 2 of Gordy Grubb. But soon, it's the Fast 41 of Danny Wallace racing into the lead. And while Wallace tries to break away, the 15 of Tim Folkerts takes over second place. Gordy Grubb is in third, with the 31C of Corey Drips on the move in fourth. But in the big picture, look at the lead for Wallace. Drips rips into third. Tim Folkert stays fast in second. But on this night, it's Danny the Dominator, as Wallace wins the feature.
First night out, full night out for the car. We've had one heat race other than this. Car's been great since out of the box. Aaron Larson, Extreme Motorsport, did a fantastic job. Tonight's a good night because there's a good field of cars. They have a good field of cars here every night, but tonight had a few extra cars and really felt good.
Back on track, it's the National Kidney Foundation Tour for a Cure Hobby Stock feature, where the 18 of Chris Walker is out in front. The 11 of Mike Hughes is racing in second place. And with lapped traffic along for the ride, Hughes moves into the lead. Walker makes it a good race from second place. But the hobby stock win goes to Mike Hughes, finishing up a fun night of highlights in Oskaloosa. And coming up next, let's wing into spring on the Iowa Racing Report. The Iowa Racing Report is brought to you by the Knoxville Raceway, sprint car capital of the world and home of the Nationals, and by Clement Auto and Truck in Fort Dodge. Give Clement a call at 1-800-433-IOWA. And welcome back to the Iowa Racing Report. Well, there's already been a battle in the sprint car capital of the world. Would rain or racing win on Saturday night? It was opening night at the Knoxville Raceway, and let's get to it right now with the highlights or the showers and Rod Botthold.
Clear and cool, but at least it's dry for opening night at the Knoxville Raceway. And on a cool night, we warm it up in the hot seat with sparks shooting out of the 19. And here's a heat race highlight in the 410s as Terry McCarl makes a late run in his new ride, but Scott Whitworth holds him off to get the win. But it is not a good night for Kenny Hansen as he drives over slow traffic and rolls it. His night is done. Let's get to the features, starting with the 360s, and it's a short ride for Jeff Johnson, who rolls the 11J down the backstretch. Up front, Ed Ergenbright is on the move, moving around Jason Danley and into the lead. Back in the middle of the pack, defending champion David Hesmer struggling with a rough ride in the 1 car. But a couple laps later, Hesmer is on the move all the way up to second. And then Hesmer makes his move on the top spot, which is bad news for Ergenbright as his own teammate bumps him in turn 4. The 21 car spins out and heads to the back of the pack. Off the restart, it's all Hesmer. The defending track champion motors through lap traffic and cruises to the opening night win in the 360 feature. On to the 410s, where the other defending champ is strutting his stuff early as Skip Jackson looks to pull away. And just a couple of laps in, Scott Whitworth takes a nasty spill in turn 2 as he gets sideways and can't get it back. Off the restart, Jackson continues to own the show, followed by John Cernett, Leonard Lee, and Larry Pinniger. But watch out for Terry McCarl as the 5 car zips into third. Then there's big trouble in turn 2 as Tony Norum's 45 takes a hard shot from the 71A of Randy Anderson, and it is a rough ride for both. Fortunately, both drivers were okay. From there, they restarted with 10 laps left, and it is a wild one as Jackson tries to hold off Terry McCarl. Late in the race now, McCarl makes a move down low and pulls even before Skip pulls away. And the 55 will not be denied as Skip Jackson holds off Terry McCarl to win the 410 feature as the defending champs open the 99 season in style. At the Knoxville Raceway, I'm Rod Botthold for the Iowa Racing Report. And now here's a look at the rest of this week's racing results on the IRR scoreboard.
Let's put the fans in the spotlight with Fan Cam. Sometimes racing and the movies have a lot in common. Some are big winners, some are big losers, and some crash even before the starting line. But there was a racing movie made a long time ago that is getting a lot of attention today. It's called Fever Heat, and it was filmed in Iowa back in 1969, and now it is the feature program at the first annual International Real Wheel Film Festival that will be going on in Knoxville coming up this Sunday and Monday. And tonight we've got the director and producer of Fever Heat, Russ Doughton, on our program, Off Track.
Well, I was here in Iowa back in the mid-'60s and looking for a story that was in this area. I came across Hank Felsen, who had written this book, Fever Heat. When I looked at Fever Heat, I realized this was a film that could really represent one of the great sports as well as this area of the country, and so I made a deal with him to make the film. He wrote the screenplay also. We had a great time. He educated me about racing, took me to Knoxville, where we just about got killed one night, and several of the other tracks to help me understand what racing was all about. Anyway, we got started on it that way back in 1967. Nick Adams, who played the lead, Ace Jones, was a very well-known actor. He was best known for his role in Rebel on the television series through the 50s and early 60s. He also played in Rebel Without a Cause, No Time for Sergeants, and several other films. He was a very fine actor. Also Janine Riley, who had starred in Petticoat Junction. A couple of local people, Walt Reno, that most of the people in Des Moines knew very well in those days. Radio personality. He played the part of a very interesting car parts salesman. And a young man, another radio personality, Skip Nelson, who was in the radio at the time. He was the announcer at the tracks. I have gotten phone calls over the years, the last 30 years, from various people saying, we'd like to have a copy, and how can we get it, and so on. I knew there was some interest. I think there's a lot more than I realized, though. And we are going to be able to have a video of the film now to release. It's never been released in video before, but we're preparing for it, and we'll have it in release by the 3rd of May when the film festival occurs. We'll have them on sale here and hopefully in other places around the country, and particularly in Iowa. In 1972, we made a film called A Thief in the Night, which was a very popular film. It still is. And it's a different kind of film. It's a Christian film. It has the gospel of Jesus Christ was the main reason for making the film, and that's woven into the story. And the purpose of the film is to tell people about Christ and help win them to Him, and the forgiveness of their sins, and to faith in Him, that they might receive eternal life from Him. We have 24 feature-length Christian films now in release, all made since Fever Heat, and we're working on another one now. I think the film festival is a wonderful idea here for Knoxville and the museum here, and I was really surprised when they came and asked me if they could use Fever Heat as their premiere presentation at the end of the festival. As I look at it now, it seems very appropriate to me, and I'm really happy to be a part of it. I hope that the festival is successful in promoting the visual aspect of car racing and filmmaking as well, and I certainly am pleased that we can have the fever heat here.
This is the Des Moines Auto Racing Association's State Fair Speedway Salute. And tonight's Des Moines Auto Racing Association Driver of the Week is Eric Lundstrom. You can catch Eric driving the number 35 Modified at the State Fair Speedway in Des Moines. For more information on the Des Moines Auto Racing Association, check out the website. And here's a Des Moines Auto Racing Association reminder. Coming up September 3rd, 4th, and 5th at the State Fair Speedway in Des Moines, it's the Driver's Dream Race hosted by the Des Moines Auto Racing Association. This is the Iowa Racing Report Driver of the Week. And tonight, our featured racer is late model driver Todd Cooney.
I'm gonna run the Bush Tour All-Star Series. I'm gonna race Corning on Saturday nights for a weekly basis. We're hoping we can move up to the next level and maybe accomplish some of the things we've done in the IMCA. Last year we won the track points here at the Iowa State Fairgrounds, and we finished second at Webster City, and we was third in IMCA national points. In the Bush Series, I'd be real happy if I set a couple poles, time trialing, and maybe won a show. That'd be more than acceptable for me. They're by far the best here in Iowa. I mean, the Bush cars, you go to a Bush race and, you know, every car there is capable of winning.
This is the Knoxville Raceway Driver of the Week, brought to you by the Knoxville Raceway. And tonight, let's meet 360 class competitor Larry Ball Jr.
I started out racing karts, and I won a couple national championships there, and sprint cars is kind of what I was after, and I tried to get a ride with some of the guys back in like 87 or 6 or something, and they told me to go try karts, so we went and tried them, and we won nationals our first year and won 21 out of the 25 races we ran. We come back and tried to get somebody to put us in one. They still wouldn't do it. They said, now we need to get a sprint car, so we kind of gave up on it for a while, and then we finally just decided we're just going to do it.
What's been the biggest adjustment from going from the kart level up to the sprint cars?
Definitely the horsepower difference. You got, you know, kind of horsepower to use, where in the karts you had to make the best of everything you had. And to some extent, these are the same way at Knoxville, but yeah, just getting used to the power and the other drivers. And
Competition-wise, Knoxville obviously has got to be one of the toughest tracks in the country. How's that been to try to learn at a place that has such great drivers?
It's been a real learning curve. We found that last year when we started up front, we could stay there. And when we started towards the back or in the middle, you know, we could get up to usually about 10th, fairly decent most of the time. And then after that, it was a lot of the guys were taking me to school. And in the sprint car, it's all about feel, and because you can't see the tires and you don't know how far you are away from everybody. So we kind of wanted to take our time and learn without having to pay the big mistake bill.
What are some of the goals you've set for yourself this year?
We want to be able to run top 5 pretty much wherever we go. We want to get some wins. You know, Knoxville for sure, we'd like to get at least 1 or 2. That's usually doing all right there, you know, for Knoxville. And we want to run the top 5 in points at Knoxville. That'll be our primary track, and we're going to play around a little bit at other places. But that's kind of what we're after, keep trying to get better than we are the week before.
And coming up, it's back on the fast track with the highlight of the week. This is the Iowa Racing Report. And welcome back to the Iowa Racing Report. It is time for some racing news and notes in a segment we call The Report. First of all, congratulations to modified driver Mark Noble, the winner of the first United States Modified Touring Series event held at the Hamilton County Speedway in Webster City last Sunday. Now, coming up next week, it will be the World of Outlaws on Friday and Saturday at the Knoxville Raceway, and a lot of IMCA specials also coming up in May, including the start of the Napa Winter Series for stock cars. Stay tuned for more information and, of course, more racing coming up in later shows of the Iowa Racing Report. Right now, let's get it back on track with the highlight of the week. This is the Hawkeye Racing News Highlight of the Week. And it's back to the Southern Iowa Speedway in Oskaloosa for the Aaron Brown Memorial for IMCA Stock Cars. And on this night, Aaron's father, Jim, is racing with motivation and plenty of drive, winning the Aaron Brown Memorial. Congratulations to Jim Brown. To subscribe to Hawkeye Racing News, call 1-800-472-4006. And here's a quick check of an upcoming event. On May 11th, the Deary Brothers Summer Series for IMCA late model racers will put it on the pavement at the Hawkeye Down Speedway in Cedar Rapids. And that's the Hawkeye Racing News Highlight of the Week. Let's shift gears to the rec room, but stay at the Speedway for another sort of Oski attraction. And that's a race and wrap for tonight's Wheel Deal. For the entire Iowa Racing Report team, have a good night.